Hi, welcome back. As we know, the 3.2 livestream was yesterday, and honestly, it went as well as I was expecting it to go. 80% being the developers yapping about things most of us don't care about, and 20% actual update stuff. One thing that was really unexpected though, and something that really caught all of us by surprise, was that Dawei never actually showed up.
Yep.
No way.
Where's my mat?
There's
Where's my
no
secret?
Dawei.
Where's my
Wow.
Dawei just runs it at the last second appearance?
Okay.
Well,
Well,
Dawei, he really was on his yacht.
Wait, hold on.
Where's
Surely there's
Dawei?
one thing at the very end. Clueless.
Probably.
As you just saw, I streamed this with a few content creator buddies, Waveman, Axe, Fleur, Mr. JX Skis, and Sugary, and it was very fun. The 3.2 dev livestream itself was very boring, but streaming it with friends and making fun of it was fun. Now I'm sure this video is going to get just as much, if not even more hate than the video I made saying 3.1 was disappointing. I absolutely hated the 3.1 livestream, but honestly 3.2 wasn't nearly as bad. There are a lot of stuff to talk about, the stuff they addressed and stuff they didn't address, so let's just get on with it. Right after I remind you to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this in the future, and join the Express Train Discord server for a fun and lovely community to hang out with and for pictures of my cat. Now let's get on to it. So, the first 80% of the livestream was, as I said, just the developers yapping about stuff most of us don't care about. They did show off the character kits, and Castorese's global passive did make it through, which means I'm quitting the game, but other than that they just talked about a lot of lore stuff. Basically, you're not going to care about any of this if you're as disgruntled with the game as I am. If you're a casual player who hasn't been complaining about any of this stuff recently as I have been, then you're probably going to care about it a lot more than I am and find it cool. Well, I don't find it cool at all, and so it's boring to me. When we did get to the exciting stuff though, I already knew about basically all of it because leaks are a thing, except for two things. We're actually getting buffs for 4 characters, Kafka, Jingliu, Blade, and Silverwolf. Except we don't know the extent of these buffs, and they're coming in 3.4 in more than 3 months, which is way too little, way too late in my opinion. I don't know why a game company this massive would announce a fix to a very big issue players have been complaining about for nearly half of the lifetime the game has been out, yet they can only implement it more than 150 days later after they actually addressed the issue. It should take less than 2 weeks, and the first wave of buffs should have been implemented when 3.1 came out. You can agree or disagree with me on many things, but if you think that Hoyoverse has any excuse to delay buffing up older units all the way to 3.4, you're just really naive. Also, the fact that characters like Zila, Danheng, Dr. Ratio, and Sparkle aren't getting any buffs either is kinda stupid because we all know they are all power crept to hell. However, I understand they should do it in waves, they should have just done it way earlier. Also, we don't know if the buffs are actually going to be decent, or if they are simply multiplier buffs, which would kinda really suck. Though we've spoken about it before, we don't need to talk about it again, so let's move on. As I said, we already knew about everything else coming. There's the new material you can exchange for 5 stars, which you can get from E6 plus character copies. We're going to get 2 for free, which means you can get 1 5-star in the 50-50 pool, or Ruanmei or Luocho for free. And we will be getting a new free 5-star in the future, but that is still unannounced, and many players, including leakers, are speculating that free 5-star to be from the fake collab. Now, don't get me wrong, all of that sounds nice, but in the end, it doesn't address any of the issues the game has. If you're the type of player to be satisfied by all of this, then most likely, you already don't care about everything else we've been complaining about for the past few months, and would have been satisfied anyway. Castorese still has her global passive, power creep is still an issue, and even with the character buffs in 3.4, it's only a fraction of the roster people are complaining is unusable, and even then, those units are going to get power crept again later because this is Honkai Star Rail and power creep is inevitable. Now, a really scummy, greedy, FOMO-inducing, money-grabbing thing that they added though, which was really the rotten cherry on top, which I think is one of the worst things they're adding for 3.2, is this little dandy spending event where you spend money to get rewards. Of course, I, again, knew about it because of leaks. You need to spend more than 200 bucks in Anaric shards for a Ruanmei or Luocho or standard character in the form of the new character spirit item, and then 100 to 200 bucks more for a wallpaper. You know a lot of people are going to fall for it, and you know they're going to spend their hard-earned money on it, unfortunately, which is Star Rail is never going to fail, they're simply too big to fail. They did exactly what I thought they were going to do, wave a bunch of rewards in our face and not address any core issues in hopes of people actually forgetting about them. When really looking at this livestream, its pros and its cons. There are only really 2 good things about the stream, and the rest is just bad.
So,
let's recap.
we're getting 30 pulls.
Yes.
You can pick either Ranmei or Luocha. We're going back to the Luofu in 3. What was it, 3?
2 5-star dupes past E6 to get
Get
a
one of
free
those.
5-star character from the shop.
Yes.
So basically, no one will ever get that unless you're a whale, and they're giving us Ron May.
Not even a whale
for
unless you're a
free.
kraken.
I mean, with the spending event, hey guys, the spending event, if you spend enough Oneric shards, you can get another golden companion spirit. So just drop like $200 on the game, so you can get another one.
Yeah.
So I will be moving away from Star Realm, as we know. This is definitely going to be my last video that is dedicated to this game, at the very least in a very long time until 3.4. I'll probably stream my reaction to 3.3 and 3.4 just like I did today with all my friends, and I might make a video about it, but most likely, unless somehow Castarese's global passive isn't actually an endgame, this is the last one I'll be making. I will be making more videos that contain some talk about it since I'm still a gacha content creator, but I will be moving on to different games to talk about mainly. I've got a couple videos coming up that are about gacha games in general, and I'm very excited to show them to you guys, so stay tuned for that. Just a reminder, I will be covering every single new gacha game that comes out, so if you play any gacha game ever and want gacha gaming content, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to stay tuned for that. Also, join the Express Discord server for a fun and lovely community all about gacha gaming, gaming in general, anime, and everything else in between. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.